of this knowledge, this desirelessness, and this impersonality is a perfect equality in the soul and the nature. Equality is the fourth sign of the divine worker. He says, the Gita, passed beyond the dualities, he is Dvandvatita. We have seen that he regards with equal eyes, without any disturbance of feelings, failure and success, victory and defeat. But not only these, all dualities are in him surpassed and reconciled. The outward distinctions by which men determine their psychological attitude towards the happenings of the world have for them only a subordinate and instrumental meaning. He does not ignore them, but he is above them. Good happening and evil happening, so all important to the human soul subject to desire, are to the desireless divine soul equally welcome, are to the desireless divine soul equally welcome, since by their mingled strand are worked out the developing forms of the eternal God, good. He cannot be defeated, since all for him is moving towards the divine victory in the Kurukshetra of nature. Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, the field of doings, which is the field of the evolving dharma, and every turn of the conflict has been designed and mapped by the forcing eye of the master of the battle, the lord of and guide of the dharma. Honor and dishonor from men cannot move him, nor their praise, nor their blame, for he has a greater clear seeing judge and another standard for his action, and his motive admits no dependence upon worldly rewards. Arjuna, the Kshatriya, prizes naturally honor and reputation, and is right in shunning disgrace and the name of coward as worse than death. For to maintain the point of honor and the standard of courage in the world is a part of his dharma. But Arjuna, the liberated soul, need care for none of these things. He has only to know the kartavya karma, the work which the supreme self demands from him, and to do that and leave the result to the Lord of his actions. He has passed even beyond that distinction of sin and virtue, which is so all important to the human soul while it is struggling to minimize the hold of its egoism and lighten the heavy and violent yoke of its passions. The liberated has risen above these struggles and is seated firmly in the purity of the witnessing and enlightened soul. Sin has fallen away from him, and not a virtue acquired and increased by good action and impaired or lost by evil action, but the inalienable and unalterable purity of a divine and selfless nature is the peak to which he has climbed and the seat upon which he is founded. There the sense of sin and the sense of virtue has no starting point of applicability.
Applicability. Okay, so this is very interesting what he's saying. The result of this knowledge. So what is this knowledge and what has he said earlier? So if you turn back a few pages, you will see that he has listed 3 signs. And here in this paragraph also he is talking about a 4th sign. Equality is the 4th sign of the divine worker. So the question is, which is the first, second and third? Okay. So the first one, okay, is the to do all this in the liberating knowledge without the personal egoism is the first sign of the worker. In other words, egolessness is the first sign of the divine worker. If you have an ego, you cannot be a divine worker. So ego has to go away, first sign of the divine worker. Second sign, no desire, freedom from desire. Okay? That's the second sign. Then the third sign in the next page, apapa vidham. This is the spiritual impersonality. You are absolutely in an impersonal condition. Impersonal means you are absolutely, samatha is perfect and you are not disturbed at all by anything. Everything is equal to you, or everything is, in another sense also, nothing to you. Either everything is to you or nothing. Everything is equal to you or nothing matters to you. Okay. Like Srebro says in one place, you should not, you should, very interesting, I think it's an aphorism, I think. He says, you should love no woman or you should love all women. So, which means that if you do one or two, then you are selective and therefore you are in a lower consciousness. So, this is exactly the same thing what he's saying here. Impersonality means everything is equal to you or everything doesn't make any difference to you. Okay? That is the impersonality. And the fourth sign is what he's saying here in this para, equality. Equality is the fourth sign of the divine worker. So you have four signs. The first is egolessness, the second is freedom from desire, the third is impersonality, and the fourth is equality. In a certain sense, impersonality and equality are almost same. Okay? But these four things are there when you can become the divine worker. The chapter is the divine worker. When can you be a divine worker? When these four conditions are satisfied. Okay? So, no ego, no desire, completely impersonal, and completely equal to everything. Now, with this background, we start reading the paragraph. I read each sentence and you will tell me whether it is clear. The result of this knowledge, this desirelessness and this impersonality is a perfect equality in the soul and the nature. Okay? First of all, the equality has to come in the soul, but not the outer being. You will see very often that yogis who are absolutely unconcerned inside, inwards, continue to behave in a very ordinary way in the physical world. Okay? I refer you to a very interesting poem of Srebro's called Self. Okay? So he has become free inside and he tells, maybe I should read the poem out to you. Next time I'll read out the poem to you. Srebro is saying it in a very humorous way, but he is absolutely free inside. But outside he is still imperfect. Okay? So, first of all these signs come in the inward nature, the soul. But Srebro is talking here only perfect equality in the soul and the nature. When you become in the nature, then you can become a divine worker. Okay, so equality is the fourth sign of the divine worker. He listed four signs, that's why I told you what the four signs are. Okay. He has, says the Gita, passed beyond the dualities. He is Dvandvatita. Dvandva Atita. What are the Dvandvas? The Dvandvas are the dualities. Okay? In the physical world, there are opposites to everything that you can say or think of. If there is sin, there is virtue. If there is hot, there is cold. If there is good, there is bad. If there is high, there is low. Everything in the physical world has got duality, and all of them are valid. Okay? Valid at our level. So, this is the, when you are at level 1, the dualities are very, very prominent in everybody. So, sometimes people say that one person is very, very generous and he's got a very, very generous character. But in some area, somewhere, he may be a miser. It depends on something else. He may be very generous with his ideas and helping others. But in other matters, he may be very miserly also. That also can happen. So dualities, dvandva. So when you are dvandva atita, you have gone beyond, you have gone to level 2. Level 2 is the Brahmic consciousness, the self, where you are these four. The impersonality starts becoming, equality also starts becoming very, very prominent in the soul. Okay? Equality and also the impersonality. He has, says the Gita, passed beyond the dualities. He is in Dvandvati. We have seen that he regards with equal eyes, without any disturbance of feeling, failure or success. Failure and success, victory and defeat. Nothing matters to him. Okay? Normally, in human beings, when there is failure, you feel depressed, and when there is success, you feel happy. Same thing with victory and defeat. But the man who has gone to the second level, the Brahmic consciousness, who has attained impersonality and freedom from desire and equality, there is no difference to him at all. He is absolutely calm within. Okay? But within, but when it comes out into nature, then that is fantastic. That's not very common. Normally, you become free inside in the soul. Then, but not only these, all dualities are in him, surpassed and reconciled. We have discussed this many times in many other classes. But why are the dualities there in the physical world, and why do they have to be transcended? I'll just give you one brief introduction to that. You can think about it later on. When the divine is creating the world, he is creating infinitely. Okay? I just take one thing. I take light. Okay? Then that explains, and you can apply this to everything. But when he is creating light, he is creating light only in one intensity? No. Suppose, let us put it very grossly, the light is of, let's say 1000 watts. But why should he not do of 2000 watts? So he produces light in many, many grades. 1000 watts, 2000 watts, 10,000 watts. But when you burst an atom bomb or you see the sun, it is 1,000,000 watts. Okay? So he produces everything. But why only positive? Why not negative? So you go backwards. 100 watts, 50 watts, 0 watts. We all have 0 watt bulbs in our at night, no? So then it goes even to negative because he is infinite. He is creating infinity. So that is what he is saying. In the world, when the manifestation takes place, the light is infinitely high, but also infinitely low. So when he is creating, for instance, happiness, same thing. When he is creating consciousness, same thing. Okay? All these are the dualities. In the physical world, that's why dualities are absolutely permanently there. You can't escape because the divine has created infinity. Now, so they are at the same level. So when you go to the second level, the Brahmic consciousness, what you realize is that your darkness and light are really the same thing. It's only light, but at a lower level and at a higher level. So therefore, you're not affected by any. Okay? I'll give you another example which will make you understand this. Take wind. When he's inventing wind, okay, when he's creating wind, he creates a very pleasant wind. You're sitting on the seashore and you enjoy the very pleasant wind. Let us say 50 miles an hour. Okay? But that pleasant wind can also become 200 miles an hour. It becomes a tornado. It becomes a cyclone. And that you don't like. It becomes unpleasant. But he can also present absolutely lack of wind. Okay? And even the absence of wind. So there again you have the dualities. You experience that wind pleasantly or unpleasantly. So this is the dualities. So dualities are there everywhere. You have to go beyond the duality. So when you go to the Brahmic consciousness, you realize that the soft breeze, which is pleasant, and the unpleasant breeze, which is tornado, are really the same thing. It's only wind coming at different levels. So this is the explanation for the dualities. So naturally, when you go to the Brahmic consciousness, you see the wind. You don't see the low wind or the high wind. Okay? Exactly as in darkness. So this applies to everything. Sin and virtue, same thing. They are the same vibration at a low level and at a high level. Okay, so this is the duality. So when you go there, you are above the duality. Dvandvatita. Okay, so now I read the text. The outward distinctions by which men determine their psychological attitude towards the happenings in the world have for him only a subordinate and instrumental meaning. In other words, normal human beings find things pleasant or unpleasant. But for the man who has gone to the Brahmic consciousness, okay, He makes no difference to them at all. So he is above them. Therefore, good happening. And now another thing, he does not ignore them, but he is above them. This is a very important sentence. It's not that a man who is in the spiritual level of consciousness with equality and impersonality, it is not that he sees the sinner and the virtuous man in the same way. It's not that. He does see the difference, but it makes no difference to him. He is not affected by them. Normally, in our normal life, we reject the sinner and we think bad of him and we think very good of the virtuous. Okay? So that is free from all these things. That is the reason why the divine mother and Swayambhu never pay attention to the defects of anybody. The soul is what is important. The defects belong to the body-mind life. And that has no importance because everybody has got defects in the body-mind life. Even an avatar, mind you, even avatar in the body-mind life, there is defects are there. Okay? Let's be very, very clear about that. Okay? Because it is the region of dualities. Okay? So that's why they don't see that. I told you a story once. Somebody came from Delhi and claimed to be an Air Force officer. I think I've told this story many times, but I'm just repeating so that because it is contextual. It is in the context useful. He came and mother was very solicitous to him. Very nice she was. After 3 months he went away. And he was saying that he is an Air Force officer. He went away. And when somebody really came from Delhi, who was an Air Force officer, there used to be a gentleman called Soni. He used to come from Delhi and he was in the Air Force. And then when they told him that, oh, your colleague had come here, he said, there is no such colleague. Right? There is no such man in the Air Force. So it turned out that he was an imposter. So if somebody goes to mother and tells him that, mother, you gave him so much importance, but he is an imposter. Mother said, that, do you think I look at the outer nature? I look at the soul. Okay? And somebody who has got a soul, awakened soul, can also have many defects in his nature. And human beings are only looking at the outer nature and not at the soul. But the divine looks always at the soul and sees its development. Okay? So that is what he's saying. He does not ignore them. It's not that he does not see a virtuous man, the difference between a virtuous man and a sinner. He does not see. No, it's not like that. He does see the difference, but it makes no difference to him. He does not ignore them, but he is above them. Okay? Very small sentence by cerebral standards, but very telling. Okay? It's like a hammer stroke. He does not ignore them, but he is above them. Good happening and evil happening, so all important to the human soul, subject to desire. The human soul which is subject to desire, that means not living at level 2, but at level 1. Okay? When you're subject to desire, you are at level 1. Are to the desireless divine soul equally welcome, since by their mingled strand are worked out the developing forms of the eternal good. So, he cannot be defeated, since all for him is moving towards the divine victory in the Kurukshetra of nature. Now look at that. It's poetic now. Kurukshetra of nature. The Kurukshetra of our nature has got all dualities. Kindness and cruelty, okay? Selfishness and generosity. All these things are the Kurukshetra of nature. Beautiful phrase. Kurukshetra of nature. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. The field of doings, which is the field of the evolving dharma. And every turn of the conflict has been designed and mapped for the foreseeing eye of the master of the battle, the Lord of works and the guide of the dharma. So the divine very often allows, particularly in Swayambhu Yoga, allows certain defects to continue. Okay? Because they will work themselves out. So basically, every turn of the conflict, see, they are using every turn of the conflict. In other words, in the synthesis, Swayambhu said very clearly that the divine uses you as you are. In fact, he even uses your defects to make you progress. Okay? He uses your defects for the progress. So, this is a very interesting thing. You have to think about it a little bit. Okay? Suppose you are overactive and you are doing all sorts of nonsensical things because you are overactive. The energy is very necessary. So the overactiveness will continue, but slowly it will get purified and the overactiveness disappears and you have pure energy. Okay. So this is the type of thing that Shraddha is saying. Even the defects are made use of in the integral yoga. Okay. So I go to the next sentence. Honor and dishonor from men cannot move him, nor their praise, nor their blame. Okay. Doesn't make any difference to him at all. He's absolutely calm and quiet. It doesn't mean to say that you reject praise. Remember that when Shivamda was offered a Kattamanchi prize from Andhra University, he accepted. But he only told them that I cannot come out of Pondicherry, so if you can come here, I will accept the award. But so Srinivasa Iyengar, who wrote that huge um, uh, biography of Srimdo, one of the biggest biographies, 1,000 pages. Okay, and he came and presented the award to Srimdo. He accepted. It's not that you don't accept and you reject. I am above all these things. I don't want your award. So this, when people are rejecting awards and returning them, okay, they are at a very ordinary level. So to show that they are not bothered about it, they are showing that they are very much bothered about it. There are many people who return their awards when they disagree with the government policies. Okay? They do that. If you see the newspapers, you will see that. Okay? So, honor and dishonor from men cannot move him, nor their praise, nor their blame. For he has a greater, clear-seeing judge and another standard for his action. And what is a clear-seeing judge? The soul. And his motive admits no dependence upon worldly reward. Okay? No reward at all. He is absolutely without any desire for the fruit. I'll give you another two examples. Okay, so Srivastava knew that if the partition of India took place, then there would be a lot of trouble. For 100 years, the Pakistan would be a problem and a thorn in India's side, and development would be very much delayed. He said that. Okay, so he sent Doraiswamy Iyengar to talk with the Congress leaders not to accept this partition, but to accept the Simon Cribb's proposal. But they did not accept. Gandhi, Nehru and others did not accept, and the partition took place. So when he came back, Doraiswamy Iyengar came back and said, sorry, they did not accept. So they said, I knew they would reject it. So someone asked Srivastava, if you knew that they were going to reject it, why did you send? Why did you send Doraiswamy Iyengar when you knew it's going to fail? He said, I did some nishkama karma. Okay, so that's exactly the clear seeing that you have to continue, and that nishkama karma also is a contributory factor to it. That is why after 75 years, slowly the concept of partition is now being challenged, and slowly it will disappear. Okay, so you have to do sometimes things when you know even that it will fail. You have to do it. Failure and success don't matter anything to the spiritual man who is in level 2. Okay, so now I go to the next sentence. Arjuna the Kshatriya prizes naturally honor and reputation, and is right in shunning disgrace and the name of coward as worse than death. He says that to Arjuna. He says that to Krishna. He says that it is my, I have to honor and reputation is very important for me at a lower level. Okay, when you are at a moral level, which Arjuna is, okay, by the way, the word prize is used as a verb here. Huh? Prizes means estimates or considers naturally honor and reputation, and is right in judging, in shunning disgrace and the name of coward as worse than death. So price, you have to take it in the sense of value. He values it. Okay? So in that sense. For to maintain the point of honor and the standard of courage in the world is part of his dharma. But now Arjuna the Kshatriya is subject to the dualities. Okay? Dvandvatita. But now Arjuna the liberated soul, he is Dvandvatita. Okay? Need care for none of these things. He has only to know the kartavyam karma, the work that the divine has given you. You have to do that. Kartavyam karma. Okay? That which need, the work that needs to be done. The work which the Supreme Self demands from him, and to do that and leave the result to the Lord of his actions. He has passed even beyond this distinction of sin and virtue. So you are become Dvandvati. Sin and virtue make no difference to him, which is at level 1. Level 1 is the normal condition of man, which is so all important to the human soul, while it is struggling to minimize the hold of its egoism and lighten the heavy and violent yoke of its passion. When the soul is identifying itself with the body and struggling to minimize, then it's at level 1. Okay? And then duality make a lot of difference to him. Sinner is bad and the virtuous is good. Okay? But to the man who is above in this higher level, it makes no difference to him. That's what Shanti is saying. Okay? So, the human soul, don't get confused, which is so important, human soul, but which human soul? The human soul which is identified with the body, mind, life, while it is struggling to minimize the hold of its egoism and lighten the heavy and violent yoke of its passion. The liberated has risen above. The liberated man standing at level 2, okay, outside his body, mind, life, is risen above these struggles and is seated firmly in the purity of the witnessing and enlightened soul. So he is only witnessing. He is the Sakshi. He is above his body, mind, life and is not subject to the dualities. Okay? So, sin has fallen away from him. There is no question of his sinning and not a virtue. Okay? Acquired and increased by good action and impaired or lost by evil action. Okay? Even that also makes no difference to him. Evil action, normally one would consider if Arjuna is going to kill his own family members, it's a bad action. Okay? And good action is killing those who are not right. But to him it makes no difference. He has to do only the divine command. Okay? So that's what he's saying. Acquired and increased by good action and impaired or lost by evil action. But the inalienable, that which is cannot be alienated, and unalterable purity of a divine and selfless nature is a peak to which he has climbed and the seat upon which he is founded. In the Gita, the word used is Kutastha. Kutastha means seated on the summit. And you are watching all this video without being troubled by it. There, the sense of sin and the sense of virtue have no starting point or applicability. But at level 1, sin and virtue have definitely applicability and you should make a difference between them. But at level 2, the spiritual plane of consciousness where you are in an impartial and impersonal consciousness, it makes no difference to you. Okay? That's what he's saying. The big para, but very, very clearly he's telling us what is what. So when he is there, then he can become a divine worker. And again, to repeat, the divine worker has 4 qualities which qualify him for the divine work. 1, egolessness. 2, no desires, desirelessness. 3, impersonality. And 4, equality. These 4 things will render the human soul capable of doing divine work in the physical world. Okay? So, 8:31, we've got 9 minutes. We can read the next paragraph. I don't know if we can discuss it. It's a big one, but we can read it. Read it slowly and so Tarika doesn't have, Kiran read. Yasmin, do you have the text? I don't know.
Shall I read
No,
that?
I'm sorry, I don't
Shall I
have.
read that?
No, wait. If Yasmin has the text, let her read. I
No,
approach
I
her.
don't have. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
then Seema can read. Okay. Seema, you can read because Yasmin doesn't have.
Thank you, Dada.
Yeah, go ahead. Arjuna,
Arjuna,
go ahead.
Arjuna, still in the ignorance, may feel in his heart the call of right and justice, and may argue in his mind that abstention from battle would be a sin entailing responsibility for all the suffering that injustice and oppression and the evil karma of the triumph of wrong bring upon men and nations. Or he may feel in his heart the recoil from violence and slaughter and argue in his mind that all shedding of blood is a sin which nothing can justify. Both of these attitudes would appeal with equal right to virtue and reason, and it would depend upon the man, the circumstances, and the time which of these might prevail in his mind or before the eyes of the world. Or he might simply feel constrained by his heart and his honor to support his friends against his enemies, the cause of the good and just against the cause of the evil and oppressive. The liberated soul looks beyond these conflicting standards. He sees simply what the Supreme Self demands from him as needful for the maintenance or for the bringing forward of the evolving Dharma. He has no personal ends to serve, no personal loves and hatreds to satisfy, no rigidly fixed standard of action which opposes its rock line to the flexible advancing march of the progress of the human race or stands up defiant against the call of the infinite. He has no personal enemies to be conquered or slain, but sees only men who have been brought up against him by circumstances and the will in things to help by their opposition the march of destiny. Against them he can have no wrath or hatred, for wrath and hatred are foreign to the divine nature. The Asuras desire to break and slay what opposes him. The Rakshasas' grim lust of slaughter are impossible to his calm and peace and his all-embracing sympathy and understanding. He has no wish to injure, but on the contrary, a universal friendliness and compassion. Maitraha karuna eva cha. But this compassion is that of a divine soul overlooking men, embracing all other souls in himself, not the shrinking of the heart and the nerves and the flesh, which is the ordinary human form of pity, nor does he attach a supreme importance to the life of the body, but looks beyond to the life of the soul and attaches to the other only an instrumental value. He will not hasten to slaughter and strife, but if war comes in the wave of the Dharma, he will accept it with a large equality and a perfect understanding and sympathy for those whose power and pleasure of domination he has to break and whose joy of triumphant life he has to destroy.
So Srimli is continuing the discussion of the dualities and then we are free of dualities. Okay, so it is we have only 5 minutes left and it's quite a complicated thing. So yes, I'll just briefly tell you that when a man considers what action he should do, there are, I've just made a note of it, possible courses of action and attitude. Okay? What is the attitude when you are told to do something? You have to estimate whether you should do it or not. So these are the possible courses of action and attitude that he discussed. For Arjuna's case, for instance, he must fight injustice and wrong. Okay, this is one thing. So the Kauravas are wrong, so he must fight. This may be most prominent in his mind. Or in the other way, to abstain from battling sin and wrong is itself a sin. To not to fight against sin is itself a sin. So these two opposite things. Either I should fight sin or I should not fight sin. Because there can be I may be involved in killing. So these are the two options that is there. So second one, it is wrong to kill, whatever be the justification for it. So the first is, I have to fight because it's necessary. They are wrong. But on the other hand, the other idea may also come in. But to kill anything, anybody, when you can't give life, you have no right to take life. That's usually the phrase used by everybody. That's why you say you cannot kill anybody because you can take a life, but you can't give life. So you have no right to take life. That's the second argument. The third argument, they simply support friends against enemies. That also is very common. We support our friends and we don't support the enemies. Okay? And this goes to such an extent that even when you know that your friend has done something wrong, you support him. This is human nature. Okay? Then the other is that you go beyond all these attitudes. What are the possible attitudes that we are discussing in this para? You can have so many attitudes. So all these attitudes are possible. Beyond all these attitudes, it must be simply the call of the soul, the self, obedience to God's will. He has no enemies nor loved ones. All are equal. He acts with it as commanded by God. Now the question is, when we don't know the soul or the self, how are we to act? The solution is very clear. Mother says, act at the height of your consciousness. Whatever your consciousness at its height, because we have also got many layers. Even at our level, of level 1, there are layers and layers. So you appeal to the best part of you, okay? The best part of you, and act according to that. Act at the height of your consciousness. This is even that is told to you. You are imperfect, no doubt. You don't know. You don't know the soul, you don't know the self. But sincerely do what you think is the best. Don't engage in that which your mind is seeing that which is the best, but your vital tells you, no. It's better to support a friend, even if he is wrong. So don't do that. That's the thing that he is discussing in this paragraph. So we have got only 1 minute left, so we can't discuss this today, but we will discuss it next time. Arjuna is still in the ignorance. I'll make a note and we'll see. Okay, I'm cutting the link. Goodbye, and everybody have a nice day.
Merci beaucoup. Merci
Thank you,
beaucoup.
Ranga.
Thank you, Ranga.
Aroma. Aroma.